Okay, great. Just as a very brief introduction, I'm going to present the project in a very few slides, and after that, the floors will be for all the association from Belgium. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the project is staging good practices in e-health care for adults and with Parkinson and their family caregivers in Europe, and is born to provide solution and bet on technology, digital content, and good practices as facilitating tools to contribute to the well-being and improvement of the quality of life of people affected by Parkinson's disease. The central axis of the project are awareness, mainly the World Parkinson Days, and also training in treatment and comprehensive patient care for health and social professionals through education, promoting the use of technology to provide therapies through telemedicine, encouraging independent living for patients at home, etc., and supporting carers through education and counseling. The target group that the project is for, it's mainly patients, but also carers and relatives, of course, professionals, social health professionals mainly, and general public. The activities that we are included in the project are local awareness raising event. This year, we prepare in the 4 countries, Greece, Belgium, Spain, and Serbia, different events in relation to World Parkinson Day. And the same will happen in next years. Also, we had our first transnational meeting not in Athens, but in Aegina Island in October, and we started to share different good practice. This is the World Parkinson Day for the next year, and the final meeting will be in Madrid at the end of the project around January 2024. The idea is in this final meeting, share the guidelines and the good practice guides at a PDF version, and translate into the different languages included in the project. And we'll hope to involve also in this transnational meeting and one of our collaborators in the Autonomous University of Madrid. And the main result of this project is a compilation of best practice in the field of Parkinson's disease. We need to define different aspects to include in the good practice, and we need to put the focus including in the inclusion of new technologies in the field of Parkinson's disease. And one of these good practice would be the remote rehabilitation. For instance, in Parkinson Madrid, we developed a couple of years ago, more or less, our own telerehabilitation system, and is one of the good practice that we'll include in the guide. This is the planning for this 24 months. We are more or less in the month 11, and this is the main ideas of the project. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So, if you have any question and any kind of doubt or something like that, or if not, you can start with your presentation, Roland, and the rest of the association.
Thank you, Jennifer. Well, I think it was interesting for all of us to enlarge a little bit the partnership So we can, I think it is an added value to have more participants and to share more ideas about it. This is why I've asked 4 patient associations dealing with Parkinson, which are members of the Belgian Brain Council, because, as you know, we gather several patient associations, but not only, and we try to have sometimes one voice. And by being together, we are more strengths. We have more strengths to talk to the policymakers, because lobbying is one of the activity we try to develop, which is not easy. It's a real challenge, but it is important. And as you know, when you talk to politicians, the only thing they think or they want is to be re-elected. So when you speak, and when you speak to, you represent more people and more voting people, then they start listening to you. This being said, I will now let all the 4 participants from Belgium present themselves, and so we can at the end try to extract some common vision or common action. I would like to add that for the Madrid meeting, please, I insist that you have some policy makers in your last conference in Madrid, Spanish, of course. I know it's not easy, but you should work on that.
I got it.
Because you have to know that it is there we have the last words. They vote the budget, they decide the priority, they decide the agenda. So it is them we have to target. We are all convinced of the interest of it, but we have to convince them. Okay, I stop here. And I leave.
Absolutely, Roland.
I leave now maybe Cécile, who can start.
Do you want that I share the slide, or do you prefer share yourself?
No, lunch.
Ask Cécile.
No, tu can launch the PowerPoint.
What you said, Cécile? Qu'est-ce que tu dis?
Ben, elle a dit qu'elle voulait bien lancer le PowerPoint, donc elle...
Okay, please, Jennifer, go on with the PowerPoint. And focus on Association Parkinson.
This is the presentation, Roland?
No.
Yes, but I will, yeah, it is my presentation, but I will come back later. I will first leave the floor to Cécile.
Okay.
No. Before.
Just Action Parkinson. Yes.
Sorry, this one.
Okay. One of our goals is to be very close to the patient, to answer to their problem, basically, and so why we have some important question of some of them, and on the World Day, we want to invite a neurologist to speak about practice, but view from scientific. It's important to explain what to do with each symptom, and to have an answer from a neurologist. So that's why not our goal first, and after we had the idea of show all the courses that happens every week inside our structure. And we have power move, gym sana, sing and music, qigong, dance, tango, and box. And we want to make for each activity half an hour. So that's why each teacher will see what the other do, and everybody can see what is all our activity during 1 week. Each week we are doing all these courses, but sometimes people will come only at only one courses, and it's important to show every courses. Janet, do you want to correct me?
Correct? No, certainly not. But I think that we have a very good program across 4 days of activities, and because they recognize that it's actually quite an effort sometimes for people with Parkinson's to get to move, to travel to and from the center, for example. They're grouped very well, so people can come and do one activity that is energetic, and then another one which is cognitive games or round table conversations. So you have a mix, and I hope that we'll be able to show that on the World Parkinson's Day, because it's important. You know, people won't come for half an hour when it takes them 2 hours to get there and back, and it's an effort. Whereas if they can come for a couple of hours and have a cup of tea and have company, be social, be welcomed, and their carers can come or the partners can come also. This is a very, very nice situation for us, for people with Parkinson's. And the activities go from quite gentle to quite dynamic. And I'm particularly fond of the boxing, which is one thing that I really wanted us to introduce. And it's a very successful course. We keep getting new members, and now Cecile had to put a second course on. So, and this is very dynamic, and I think it also helps to change the image of people with Parkinson's, because we can not all people with Parkinson's are very geriatric or in a wheelchair. They're people at a whole way along the spectrum, and we need activity that pushes us as well. We need to make an effort. So I think we do that with our club, and everybody's very supportive of each other, and that also makes a big difference. Because I know when I was first diagnosed nearly 10 years ago now, it was I felt very lonely, and that was the worst thing, to be completely isolated and alone. And I think we've changed that for the people who see. We do quite a lot of publicity around the place, and people spread the word, and there are new members coming through all the time. They don't come all the time, but it's an important resource that people can rely on. So I hope that answered some of the questions or filled in some of the gaps for you.
Thank you very much, Janet. I have one question and one comment. It's true that you put a lot of energy, and it's very well made about the physical activity, because from what I heard and I learned, it is the best treatment for the moment is physical activity, like ping pong and like all the activity you perform. That's very important, I think. And the other question is, how many members do you have?
Cecile.
Yes, but we have 200 members now, okay. And we see that we have each week we have 60 person we come.
Okay.
Per week.
So that's what you are focusing on mainly, and also to try to have some neurologists sometimes to talk about progress made within research or treatment or clinical trials, whatever.
Yes. Yeah. It's important to have two information and activities. We work on the both things.
Thank you very much. So maybe we can give the floor now to our second partners, which is Meek.
Hi. Yes, hi.
Maybe you change slides.
Yes, okay, you can share my screen if you want. Can you share my presentation, or do I have to do it myself?
I can do it.
Okay, good. Right. Okay.
No,
No,
that's not.
that's not. That's a different one. I can also do it if you want.
It's the other presentation. Sorry, I have all in the same folder.
Can I share it, or is it not possible? Wacht, hè. Okay. Wacht, how do I share? And I'm used to Zoom. That's my.
Yeah, you have to go on the right upper part, and there is a sharing in Flash. Yeah. Okay,
Now you
that's
have
it.
the presentation.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay. Perfect. Right. Okay. Thank you. Well, Roland asked me to present my organization of the Vlaamse Parkinson League a little bit, and also to say a few words about what was most successful, let's say, in the recent past. And I have 2-3 slides, and then I have a third one in which I have would like to put on the table, ideas for future action. Well, okay, we are, I think, the main patient organization in Flanders. We are mainly a network organization. It means that we have a central office in Leuven, and then we have 30 local contact groups. Activities are taking place mainly in local contact groups, but we also organize a number of Flemish-wide, let's say, events. Our current membership is more or less 3,000. And all of them, well, not all of them, but a great deal of them take part in activities of the local contact groups. The activities of local contact group can be are of a great variety. You have some groups that are just drinking coffee from time to time and eating cake, and others are very active. They do information afternoons or evenings, physical activities like walks or boxing, and so there's a great variety of activities in different groups. Well, as you see, the Liga, the umbrella organization, focuses on a range of activities. An important element for us is to provide good information, accessible information to our members. But also beyond our membership, because our website has a lot of information that is available to everyone. Of course, we spend a lot of time supporting the activities of our local groups. We also defend interests, or that's one of our objectives, to defend the interests of the Parkinson community. We try to raise awareness, and we also collect money for support of scientific research, and then we have specific services that we provide to our members, advice and so on, and a listening ear. Okay, you can take, yeah. So I must say that in 2020, 2021 were two very difficult years for us, because of course our actions, they rely on physical meeting up. They are contact groups, patient groups. They want to see each other and support each other. And of course, with Corona, it was not possible to do that. We had some digital surrogate. Many groups had digital meetings, but that was not really very successful. I mean, it was very difficult because people really want to meet, and also our members, many of them are quite old and not so much used to the digital information tools. So that was quite difficult. So, for us in 2022, our groups and also the organization, the central organization, we emerged from the post-Corona, from the Corona crisis this year, and that went very well. The local groups have started with a very wide range of activities and many meetings. And also we have our central activities. For example, we have, and I saw that also you mentioned the Action Parkinson Conference. Well, we also have an annual Parkinson conference. Last year we had 400 attendees in Ghent, and this year we will also do it. It's not on the day, the Parkinson World Day itself, but it's, I think, a week beforehand. And that's very well attended. There are talks. This year we have invited. Every year we organize it along a certain theme. This year it will be about mental well-being. That will be the central theme for our conference, and we have a forum, a general assembly, where there are presentations by specialists and so, but also by patients. And then in the afternoon we have a number of workshops. And it's a bit similar, so the setup is a little bit similar to what Action Parkinson does. So that's for us a very important one, and last year was a very successful one. So it went very well. Then what we also have done in the last couple of years, we have really improved our, and I think we can say that we were quite successful. Our central axis was a little bit, focused on provision of good information. We have improved the quality of our information activities, our website. We have 4 editions of the magazine, webinars. That's a new thing that we have done since this year. So we organize webinars and on certain themes, practical themes like driver's licenses, psychological well-being. You're going quite a range of things that we cover, and they are quite well attended. We have 200 people attending these webinars, which is quite nice. And often there are people that are not always able to come to physical meetings. Then what we also did was also quite an important project for us. It's a multimedia package that is directed especially at patients who has just received the diagnosis of Parkinson. So we give them some good tips of how to deal with the diagnosis, because we have had the feedback from our members that the moment of diagnosis is a very difficult moment, and very often patients feel a bit lost. I think someone said it earlier today. When you receive the diagnosis, it's a very big thing, and people feel a bit lost and left alone. So we have a good package with tips for these people. And then we also last year we set up what we call Parkinson Punt, which is a kind of a helpline, which provides people can call it and they get some advice and help. Last year, I think we had about 2,000 calls and also emails. It's emails and calls, and we are able to help a lot of the people that call us, or direct them to the right, support systems. So that is also something which was quite nice. And then last but not least, 2 years ago or last year, we had in the past we collect money. Or we collect money for supporting, scientific research. And in the past, we kind of like handed it out a little bit, to who came along and had a good story to tell. And we found it a little bit, not very satisfactory. So we entered into a collaboration with the King Boudewijn Stichting, and we had a public call for study proposals. Which we then, we had a scientific committee that selected the best projects submitted, and so that these projects are now ongoing. But we thought that was quite a good thing to do, this call, because it is more objective, and we hope that the quality of the research projects selected is better. Okay, so I've been thinking a little bit about what we could do together, as Belgian associations, active in this field. I think that, in 2024, we will have the mother of all elections in Belgium, with the federal, the regional, and the local elections in 1 year. And we thought it would be very good if we could build a kind of a coalition, a broad coalition with patients, but also, partners of patients, and also carers and scientists. A broad coalition with whom we would kind of like, put together a kind of a memorandum for the elections, with which we could then go to the political parties. We could present our, what we think is important to do the next couple of years to improve the care for people with Parkinson. And then another thing which we also feel which is useful, and I think BBC, the Belgian Brain Council is also, I think, interested in that, is to convince the government, to establish a good national register for neurological disorders, because we feel that there is not enough knowledge where how many patients are there, and what are the specific disorders that they suffer from. And I think it would be very good to establish such a national registry. So these are two ideas that we have for common action in the future.
Thank you very much. It was very impressive what you have put together. You have 3,000 members, which is a huge number. You organize a meeting with 400 participants, which is also a challenge. And you had 2,000 calls. This is really a large and successful organization. And in fact, I also appreciated your last 2 points, which is to have something together, because this is exactly what we are looking for. And that's before the election, that also the best time when a politician is listening to you. Of course, they do promise, which is one thing. And as you know, promises, the only responsible is the one who believes in it. But anyway, we can do them. We can do that. And about the registry is also a big challenge. And I think momentum is reached because there is, from the Commission, from the European Commission, and from the European Parliament also, rules which are about health data space. This will be obligatory. So the movement is going top down. And I think then the government is more listening to us to build a registry. But I must tell you that it's still a challenge to do. Anyway, we can discuss it later. Thank you.
Lovely. I guess you have a question.
Yes, I do. Yeah, it was impressive. Thank you for the talk. I just wondered if you can give some crude estimate. What is the structure of your membership, and where do you search for funds?
That a question to me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well, the structure of our membership. Well, I think it's I must say we haven't really analyzed that. Well, we have certainly we have younger people, older people. I think for me that's one of the. In fact, it's a good question, because I think it's one of the challenges for patient groups like ours. We have. I always say there are 3 big axes. You have people who have just received the diagnosis, are still very active, often employment and so. And then you have the people that are really very, affected by the disease. Then you have like younger people, young age and old age, from let's say from 40 to 99. And then you have, on the other hand, you have another axis, which is the bus driver or the truck driver and the university professor. So you have this kind of huge variety of people, and the only thing in common is that they have all suffered from Parkinson. And to organize activities for this group of this very diversified group of people is very difficult. So you have to diversify your offer of activities. You have to cater for the different, segments of your population, and that is not easy. Certainly not at the local level. It's very difficult. But we try to do that. We try to offer something for the different groups. Something that everyone is interested in is, of course, good information. So that's a common thing that everyone needs. So that is certainly something. Where do we get our funds from? Well, we used to have in Belgium, or in Flanders anyway, a very good, good system where people were kind of like encouraged to give, how would I say, inheritance, you know, how do you call it in English? Sorry?
Inheritance, yes.
Yeah, inheritance, to give, to make donations to good causes. And that is, I think, until recently, the main, how we say, entry point, or the main source of revenue. We don't get any money from the government. We have a couple of thousand of euros, but that's almost nothing. Of course, we also have our revenues from membership. We ask 20 euros per year. So that's something, but not much. Voilà, and then we have donations. Voilà, but it's also a challenge. We are now because the old system, the tax system, has been revised, and it's now much less advantageous for us. So we have to find new sources of income, and that's something that we are working on. We also have some sponsoring from the pharmaceutical industry, but very limited. Voilà. But in the past, it's mainly inheritance.
If I may add, Pavle, if I may add, this is very important what he said about the heritage. So when a family or someone which is alone is dying, he can offer his heritage, houses or whatever, to the association. And this is one of the most important source of revenue. We don't apply it because we cover association and not individual members. But this is the most important source of revenue for many associations. And I don't know if this works in Serbia, for instance.
No.
No.
No, never heard.
Okay.
So it's actually the patients, mostly patients are the members of the society, right? Yeah, that's impressive. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
So if there is no other question on this topic, you have a question, Janet, please? Janet.
Yes, so yes, it was just a little comment that actually we are very much a self-support group, and in fact we tend not to refer to ourselves as a patient group because we're not patients to each other. It's a social environment. I think that's in our statutes. It's quite important to us.
Yeah, it's like Epione. It's about caregivers also. Yes. So maybe I can shift, if you allow me, to my presentation and the one from de Michel. I just want to introduce something which
one
might
do you
be
prefer first, Roland? Which presentation?
mine, let's say. I just want to start with something which is quite new and not known by many, I suppose, but it should be integrated within our knowledge. It is about this Lewy body disease. Yeah, I was just listening to a conference made by a French neurologist, Claire Paquet, and she created an association which is A2MCL Association. So it is about Lewy body disease, and as you know, Parkinson is characterized by aggregation of alpha-synuclein, but there is also other disease, neurodegenerative disease, which have this alpha-nucleinopathy, like Alzheimer and Parkinson, but also the Lewy body disease. And it's a very rare disease, but it's very difficult to correctly diagnose. It takes a mean of 5 years to be diagnosed, and it is important to know about it and to learn about it, so not to make mistakes in the diagnosis and prescribe wrong or false treatment. And therefore, I will, with your agreement, try to collect people and create an association of those people with Lewy body disease, which is part of the spectrum of Parkinson's disease, but it's not the same and the treatment are not the same, but there are many overlapping symptoms. That was the first point. The second one, so maybe this was just a point I wanted to raise here for you. So next slide. So I just moved, the movement I invited you was about the World Parkinson Day. And again, it's a good opportunity to for dissemination and for visibility. That is why we should also try to have some, at least some common topic or theme to develop or to show to the others that our association is in, and our movement, our project, Erasmus project, is involved in that day. The next one. So as you know, well, this is a logo of the partners you all know, recognize, but it's important for the visibility to show it whenever it's possible. The next one. So this is okay, we already did. So the Moussel, yes, I will now move to the Moussel. The Moussel is another charity dealing with Parkinson, and which is mostly focused on the foundation from the American one. I forgot his name. And they are dealing with research, and they want to promote more research. And what they want is to help the clinical trial. And so the title of their project is Parkinson's Trial Finders. So I will present what they suggest is what and why. Provide overview of Parkinson trials in Belgium. Okay. And it's communicate, important for researcher, patient, and neurologist. But I agree it's important. This is a personal comment. But you have to reach them. You have to know how to communicate with them. And do you have the name of the researcher working on Parkinson? No, it's not so easy to reach. Same for neurologist, and maybe through patient it's more easy through the association, but it's not so easy to communicate to those people. Publish short interview with PI, yes. Educate people high level on PD research. That's okay. I think we all try to do that. And well, like Mike stressed, it is important we deliver high quality information and not fake news. And this is a very important thing. This validate our association, and it's give higher credibility. Okay, next one. No. Okay. So as I'm not the promoter of this, I am a little bit not in the right position to defend it or to make advocacy for it. Anyway, they want to promote more clinical trials. But for that, you need first to have the support of the industry, because it is the industry who is launching the clinical trials, because you know clinical trials are very expensive, and without the support of strong industry, you cannot succeed in the clinical trials. So you need the support from the industry very strong. In the EU clinical trial register, this exists, I think. I sent her you can look in all the clinical trials which exist in the world, and I sent her the link, and there is, according to this register it has been established by the NIH or something like that, it exists in Belgium, 59 clinical trials for Parkinson in Belgium. That's a huge number. A Belgian university, that's also a nice challenge, but it's very hard also to know who is doing what in Parkinson for research in Parkinson in the Belgian university. It's it's nice, but it's difficult to reach. That is my personal opinion. So let's move to the last one. So inform provided, central web page. I think we do have, this is something which is used by everyone. List with studies, this is available, this is possible to do. And more detailed informed per study, but this has been to be more defended by Anne-Marie, because she knows better the project than I. But I wanted to show what is her project anyway. So, and interview with researchers, that's also very important, and coordinator. Interview with patient. You know what is missing here, to my point of view, is a patient centricity. And patient centricity is a key word that is not yet well understood by many. Patient centricity is the heart of the thing. Patients should be involved at all levels, even in research. They should participate in the call and in the writing of the call for research, because they know what they're talking about. They have the disease. And also in the clinical trials, they also should be involved, because they could give very practical advice when constructing a clinical trial. So this is in what I would like to see more. But anyways, this was my personal view. Thank you. Yeah, okay, propose collaboration. Of course, collaboration is very important, but again, we have to define more practically what do you want and what do you expect and what do you want to reach. Is there any more? I think it's over. It's neat. The planning is mid-December, January, February, April, but I think we need to hear her about this project so we can have a question answer and debate about it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Mick, you want to say something?
Yeah, well, just so I mean, she presented. We have a multidisciplinary advisory board, and Anne-Marie presented her tool or our plans for the tool there, and I think that there was from the neurologists and so and the scientists that are there, we were all quite positive about it. They thought it was a good idea. Personally, I think well, it's good that because it's not. I think it's not so much directed at business. It's more universities and so trials there, and so of course the trials by industry are not excluded, but so I thought people thought it was a good idea and to raise awareness about these trials or these research projects and to guide testing persons, patients and so to these research projects, because I know from experience many of the projects are looking for testing persons to test certain things. So that's I mean, everyone was quite positive about it. I think the main challenge will be to feed the animal because you will need. I mean, as you saw, there's a lot of information that you have to put on the website to explain what the different projects are about and to maintain that kind of effort, because you have to update it all the time and to add new projects and so on. That will be quite a lot of effort. And if something else already exists, then of course the question is, if something similar already exists, then the question is, whether it's worthwhile to do this investment. But okay, if she wants to do it, that's fine.
Okay, yes. Maybe we should proceed a little bit further with that. But there is also the risk that clinical trials, they have to be very well prepared and with a high number of patients. If you don't have a sufficient high number of patients, the results are not significant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we are not going to go too far because we have our other partners, and we would like to listen to the Greek and the Serbian, what are their project or wish or for the next to progress within our action.
In relation to your comment regarding the patient centricity in research, it's something that here in APM are really concerned about it. Indeed, we are now involved in a very big research project regarding fatigue and sleep disorders. And we are part of the patient engagement group. And we started to participate at the very beginning of the project. And our main goal was to provide input about the protocol and the requirement that patients need in general to participate and be involved in this kind of research, because it's vital. Something that we usually listen from our patients is, well, you always say patient centricity, but we are in the middle with a lot of people looking at me, but I don't know how to say so. What do you ask me before and after that you start to set your goals? Or because perhaps if you ask me before, you will have a more enriching result in your project. And I really believe that as patient association, it's perhaps one of the most important goals at the moment. We need to involve patients in research, but also involve a scientific community with patients. I mean, of course, the point of view of scientific is vital in a research, but if you don't know what are the needs from the patients, it's quite difficult to have good result for them. At the end, the user of your research are patients. So you need them from the very beginning. And I think it's something that we need to work on that.
True, I agree. Thank you.
It's a two-way road. It's a two-way road, and it's actually education. Each should educate the other one. It's serious business.
Yes. So who wants to have the floor now? Fokion, you want to say something?
The purpose of clinical trials is to produce something that will make patients' lives better. So patients should be involved by definition in all aspects of clinical trials.
Yeah.
Because they are the primary beneficiaries of the clinical trials.
Yeah, okay. That's clear. So time is passing, and I don't know, it's about 1 hour meeting we have. So I think if there is no more comments or something you want to add, maybe I give the floor to our coordinators for maybe the next meeting.
Yeah. Before leaving, yes, I have a question for Janet or Cecile or Mick, and it's regarding digital health projects. Are you involved in any of those? Because here in our association, our patients are involved in different kind of digital projects. I mean, with Fitbits or smart apps and so on. Trying to gather objective information from digital endpoints and so on. And we wanted to know if you are also participant in those kind of projects, and your feedback about how it's going on. What are the difficulties if you are involved in those? Maybe you are not, so it's just a question.
From my perspective, I'm not aware of being involved in any, and I'd quite like to be, because there are a lot of things that we ought to be able to do better using some different types of technology, and we don't have them. Just even simple things like monitoring the medication or something like that, or symptoms. And you hear lots of stories of apps that are being developed that are very good and offer this and that and the other, but I don't actually find them. And a couple that I did try had so much advertising in them that it was not worth, in the end. It was supposed to be a free trial, but every time you tried to do something, you got invited to buy something or pay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understood the question. What exactly? What was the question exactly? What do you want to know?
Yeah. Yes, because in Europe, I mean, it's true that we have more elderly people, and we have less professionals also to take care after the big amount of elderly people that we are becoming with the years in Europe. So we find that there are some calls even for the projects in Europe that are focused on digital healthcare, on how to attend the number of people, of elderly persons, people with Parkinson's and other diseases that are going to be in Europe in the next years, using technology in order to attend them better. So we are participating in some of them.
There is a student in Liège that needs some help, and who has some participant to si j'ai bien compris, to put application on the telephone. It's okay. It's fast. Some people. There is. It was a fortnight ago. There is a young student from Liège who asked for participant, and we relay that question to our all members. Okay.
Is that the Interreg project? Because we are. I mean, some of the people of the league are involved in a kind of a cross-border project. I think with Nord-Pas-de-Calais, Hainaut, and Western Flanders or so, for developing a kind of a tool for facilitating communication, an e-tool. And I know that some people have been involved in that, and they are kind of like, they have the researchers have set up a kind of like a response group with patients to test the application and then to give comments and feedback and so that I'm aware of. Yeah.
As Micah said, we are now participating in 3 different projects related to the use of these technologies, and perhaps we can prepare another meeting and share with you our work and ask for your opinions or your suggestion, and this kind of things is okay with you, because your opinion is very, very important for us.
I think it's a good idea, yes.
Right.
So thank you for being with us, and I hope we can go on with this kind of communication together.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, especially for you Belgian associations. It's a pleasure.
Don't forget to record this in our good practice guide,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.